Something extraordinary is happening in the world of faith, and most people don't realize it. There is a pilgrimage so large, so powerful, that it draws more people every year than even the Vatican itself. Millions move together. Roads turn into rivers of prayer. Cities pause. Time feels different. And yet, this pilgrimage is not centered in Rome. It does not revolve around papal ceremonies or marble halls. It takes place somewhere far more humble, far more human, far more alive. Most people assume the heart of Catholic pilgrimage is the Vatican. It makes sense. Rome is where popes live. It is where history feels carved into stone. It is where cameras point during Easter and Christmas. And yet, when we look at where people actually go, where they walk in pain, hope, gratitude, and love, the answer surprises many. The largest Catholic pilgrimage on earth does not happen in Vatican City. It happens in Mexico. Every year, more people travel to one shrine in Mexico than travel to the Vatican in an entire year. Not by planes alone, but on foot. Not dressed for ceremony, but for sacrifice. Some walk for days. Some for weeks. Some arrive barefoot. Some arrive on their knees. And they all arrive for one reason. A mother, to understand why this pilgrimage is bigger than the Vatican, and why it matters, we have to go deeper than crowds and statistics. We have to understand the human heart. We have to understand history. And we have to understand how faith becomes real when it feels close, not distant. Long before cathedrals and basilicas filled Europe, the land we now call Mexico was already sacred. Indigenous civilizations lived with a deep awareness of the divine. They believed the universe was alive. They believed the heavens spoke. They believed the earth listened. Their cities were built with precision. Their calendars followed the stars, and their rituals were shaped by a belief that life itself was holy. Even when it was misunderstood by outsiders, then history shifted. Spanish ships arrived. Crosses followed swords. A new faith entered the land, but it came wrapped in power, politics, and fear. Churches rose where temples once stood. Old symbols were broken. New ones were enforced. For many native people, this did not feel like salvation. It felt like loss. Faith became tangled with force. Belief became confused with control. And instead of healing hearts, religion became something distant, foreign, and painful. But then something happened that no empire planned in the year 1531. On a quiet hill called Tepeyac, a poor indigenous man named Juan Diego encountered a woman unlike any he had ever seen. She did not speak Spanish. She spoke his language. She did not look European. She looked like his people. Her skin was brown. Her eyes were gentle. Her voice was kind. And she called him her little son. She did not demand obedience. She offered comfort. She did not speak of power. She spoke of love. This woman was the Virgin Mary, but not as the conquerors presented her. She appeared as a mother who understood pain, loss, and dignity. She asked for a church to be built, not as a symbol of control, but as a place where all could come and feel safe. When Juan Diego tried to explain what he had seen, no one believed him, until a miracle made belief unavoidable. On a simple cloak, an image appeared. An image that should not exist. An image that still exists today. A fragile cloth that should have turned to dust centuries ago, yet remains whole. A woman clothed with the sun, standing on the moon, hands folded in prayer. A message without words. A sermon without sound. And something extraordinary happened next. Millions converted to Christianity, not because they were forced, but because for the first time, faith felt like home. God no longer felt foreign. Heaven no longer felt distant. A mother had come to them, in their language, on their land, carrying love instead of fear. This is why the pilgrimage to Our Lady of Guadalupe is not just large. It is personal. Today, nearly 5 centuries later, the devotion has not faded. It has grown. Every year, more than 10 million people travel to the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City during the feast days. Some come from nearby towns. Others come from distant states. Many come from other countries. And unlike tourists, they do not come to look. They come to give something of themselves. Compare that to the Vatican. Millions visit Rome each year. They admire art, they attend Mass, they take photos, and there is nothing wrong with that. The Vatican remains sacred. It remains important. It remains historic. But pilgrimage is not about visiting. Pilgrimage is about movement. It is about sacrifice. It is about walking towards something that matters more than comfort. At Guadalupe, people do not arrive clean and rested. They arrive tired. They arrive aching. They arrive changed. Entire highways close to make way for pilgrims. Families set up food stands along the roads to feed strangers for free. Churches stay open all night. Streets fill with hymns. Rosaries pass through tired fingers. And with every step, a prayer rises. This is not organized tourism. This is faith in motion, and this is why it matters. Because in a world where faith is often reduced to opinion, this pilgrimage shows belief as action. In a time when religion is seen as private or fading, this journey shows faith as public and alive. In an age of isolation, this pilgrimage creates community among strangers. People come carrying grief. They come carrying gratitude. They come asking for healing. They come saying thank you. Some walk because they survived illness. Some because their child recovered. Some because they are desperate. Some because they are simply grateful to be alive. And all of them come to the same place. They come to a mother who does not divide by status or wealth. They come to a shrine where the poor kneel beside the rich, where the young walk beside the old, and where no one asks who you are before offering you water, food, or prayer. This is why this pilgrimage is bigger than the Vatican. Not because Rome is unimportant, but because Guadalupe speaks directly to the human heart. As the pilgrimage reaches its final moments, something quiet happens in the hearts of the people. After days of walking, after miles of pain and prayer, after tears and songs and silence, the crowd slowly begins to thin. Pilgrims leave the basilica one by one. Some walk away smiling. Some walk away crying. Some walk away in silence. But none of them leave the same way they arrived, because this pilgrimage does something rare. It does not just move bodies across land. It moves hearts toward meaning. Many pilgrims say the same thing when asked why they came. They don't talk about miracles right away. They don't speak about numbers or history. They say something simple. I needed to come home, not to a building, not to a city, but to a feeling they cannot fully explain. A feeling of being seen, of being heard, of being held. That is the quiet power of this pilgrimage, in a world that often feels cold and divided. This journey reminds people that faith is not an idea locked in books or buildings. Faith is something that walks. It bleeds. It sings. It carries burdens. And it keeps going even when the road is long. This is why the pilgrimage to Our Lady of Guadalupe matters more than comparisons. Bigger than the Vatican does not mean better than Rome. It means different. It means closer. It means faith that lives not in marble halls alone, but in streets, highways, villages, and tired feet. The Vatican speaks with authority. Guadalupe speaks with tenderness. Rome teaches. Guadalupe embraces, and the world needs both. But in times of fear, uncertainty, and exhaustion, it is often the voice of a mother that people run toward. Every year, millions answer that call. They walk through heat and rain. They sleep on concrete. They share food with strangers. They pray for people they will never meet. And in doing so, they quietly prove something powerful. Faith is not disappearing. It is moving. It is moving across borders. It is moving across generations. It is moving across wounds that history once made deep. And it is reminding humanity that belief does not survive because it is protected. It survives because it is lived. So when people ask why this pilgrimage is bigger than the Vatican, the answer is not found in numbers alone. It is found in the tears of a grandmother, in the hope of a child, in the gratitude of someone who survived, in the courage of someone who kept walking when it would have been easier to stop. This pilgrimage matters because it shows us who we are when we walk together. It shows us that love can unite what history once divided. And it shows us that sometimes the greatest movements in the world begin not with power, but with a quiet yes spoken in faith. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to reflect on what you are walking toward in your own life. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be shared, support this journey by liking, sharing, and subscribing, so together we can continue discovering the most powerful expressions of faith from around the world. Thank you for walking this story with us. And may the mother who calls her children home walk with you wherever your path leads next.